invite the top 3 scholars we have on the call. We have Honorable Shri Jayesh Ranjan Garu, who is a IT Secretary for IT Secretary Electronics for Telangana State of Government. And also the gossip or the reality is he's the Chanakya behind the IT exposure and the entire evolution of the IT export market to the state of Telangana. We also have Surendra Tipparaju, who is also Chief Principal AI Architect as well as Director for AI for Microsoft. And we have none other than Dr. Srinivas Padmanabhuni. Between the 3 scholars, we have about 75 years cumulative experience within commerce, art, and science, which brings all together. All 3 of them has taken the oath of spreading the awareness of AI, while Mr. Jayesh Ranjan is planning to touch on the employment aspect about 10 lakh employees in state of Telangana, and Mr. Surendra Tipparaju has personally taken the goal to touch about 1 lakh students in terms of AI education and awareness programs. And Dr. Srinivas Padmanabhuni, who is a professor as well as a well-known speaker across 8 countries, 400 plus international speeches across the country. Given this expertise with these 3 people, what I would like to do today with the use of this time is to understand why AI reskilling is important, what are the absolute skills that are required for AI, and also any suggestions or any feedback. What should a person bring to the table that will make them different in other than just learning AI or data science? With that, I would like to start Jayesh to give his insights on why AI reskilling is very important.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Prashanth. Very happy to be interacting with all of you, particularly so many students on this call. So today we are realizing this even more. Of course, we have known of it for the last 5-6 years, but particularly in this COVID scenario, we are realizing it and recognizing it even more, that the future of the world, regardless of what sector of economy you operate, will be driven by technology, digitalization, and amongst the digitalization push, the lead will be taken by a bunch of technologies, which we can call collectively as emerging technologies, and AI will be at the forefront of it. So it is very important, therefore, that regardless of whatever you do, you may become a banker, you may join a software company, you may become a civil servant, regardless of where you land up, you may become an entrepreneur. If you don't have understanding of AI, if you don't know AI tools, if you're not able to visualize the possibilities of applying AI to improve your work. I was listening to some of the closing comments of the previous section. Someone asked about the hospitality industry. I mean, regardless of where you are, and the speaker was able to give immediately 2-3 answers on how AI can support the hospitality industry. So regardless of wherever you are, learning, understanding, learning, having that mental agility to apply AI to improve your business is going to be the key differentiator between a successful professional or a successful entrepreneur and just someone who has been a has-been. So I'll conclude by telling one thing. For the last roughly about a year, I'm the officiating Vice Chancellor of the Jawaharlal Nehru Technology University in Hyderabad. And we have taken a very momentous decision. I don't think any other university anywhere in this country has taken that kind of a decision. And our decision is that regardless of which branch of engineering you enroll into, you have to do a compulsory credit course on AI. And there has been lots of debate about this decision. Many people said that I'm going to study mechanical engineering. Why should I know about AI? I'm not a computer science student. But we insisted that regardless of who you are, every business, every sphere of activity can be enhanced using AI, and therefore you must have that skill and knowledge.
Wonderful, sir. I really like some of your points, and I was actually reading some articles that you mentioned back in the day as well. One of the important thing that I think you brought in core aspect in the some of your interviews is bring something original, which is identifying the problem, looking through the visibility, and using the skill set, and using it in more agile way, and bringing the solution out of it. And Also the point that about AI has, it can solve most of majority of the problems, and it is gladly appreciated that for influencing to have a credit course on AI, especially in JNTU Hyderabad. So that's a great initiative as well, sir. So we thank you so much on that. So with that, we move on to Dr. Srinivas Padmanabhuni, who has given us just the nuts and bolts of AI earlier, to understand his perspective when he teaches to students. What do you see, sir? What are the skills do you think should be retrained or reskilled, or absolute skill set that are required?
Okay, so thanks, Prashanth. Thanks, Jayesh Garu, for your insight. As I said, one thing which distinguishes what we call as practitioner from theorist is the practitioner starts with a question: why this technology? That is the typical debate between CTO and CEO. I have acted as official CTO in several client organizations, and when I go with the engineering team to the CEO, the first question asked is, what's the business value? Right? So AI is a hammer, right? But for what use? So what you need to understand is the power of AI, like I mentioned in my previous talk, is the ability to extract patterns from the data without being explicitly programmed. Means you don't have to write a program saying that this is the logic is there in the data, but you let the data extract the intelligence or the patterns is there. So wherever you see the need for, I need to know what the data is telling me, and you need to use the data to drive a decision making. It could be a CEO making a decision, it could be doctor making a decision, or it could be a, I don't know, it could be possibly a simple teacher who is trying to teach the next chapter based on analysis of patterns of students' inputs, right? So what I feel is it is important to understand a end user perspective of AI. That's very important. So to that perspective, I have even gone on and taken sessions on design thinking for eliciting what is the use case, what is the purpose for which the AI system is to be built in a particular scenario. So you need to answer that question. From a student's perspective, there are two aspects which is very, very important. One is the zeal to work out an end-to-end solution. See, people, what they do is they come up with a course plan based on a YouTube series or a diploma and say that I have done my due diligence of being ready for the market with an AI diploma. But what is more important is, do you have proof of solving a problem? And that's where my request for everyone is, take up a problem from Kaggle, take up a problem from HackerRank, or take up a problem from any government hackathon. Like a lot of governments organize hackathons. Take part in that. There is a real problem being specified there. And then use your end-to-end knowledge which you acquired either on your own or from your certification program, put that in perspective. Then you realize the percentage of amount of time you need to put to feature engineering and to data cleaning. And then if you have done something on your own, put it on good GitHub. Put the GitHub, put your HackerRank rank, HackerEarth rank, Kaggle profile as part of your CV. Don't put anything else. Let me tell you, today there are companies who are willing to just take you just purely based on your HackerRank profile. I don't want to listen tons and tons of pages and pages of details of projects you've done. Nothing. So what I say is, take up practical problem as a follow-up to what you have learned, what you learned in your school, university, or online forums, but top it up with a practical case study. That is very important. Today, I would not accept any excuse from anyone saying that, oh, sir, I don't have practical case study. Let me tell you, if you ask me today, I will open up the Kaggle site and open up 100 problems for you. Or I'll open up government of Telangana site, they'll open up bit saying that these are the different data sets available. Or government of India site, data.gov.in, or data.gov.uk, or data.gov. I'll give you hundreds of data sets and open up there. And then you are suddenly silenced, right? So it's only your will to work on a real problem using the knowledge you've extracted. So my request is, never stop at learning only the diploma related or certificate related thing. Top it up with something you can put in your resume with a Kaggle problem you solved, or a HackerRank, or a HackerEarth profile. That's the biggest practical advice I can give you. And believe me, if you remove everything else in your CV, just put these 3 links: your HackerEarth link, HackerRank link, Kaggle link, and your GitHub link. Let me tell you, that is good enough for programmers to be recognized by potential companies.
Great point, Dr. Srinivas. So if I'm hearing correctly here, so Dr. Jayesh Garu said, bring your originality, use it agile, look through those problem-solving skills. And I'm hearing from Dr. Srinivas Garu that, long gone are the days where theoretical knowledge is not going to be helpful. Use the practical problems that are available. So if you do not have experience, get those Kaggle competitions going on. Become a grandmaster, master. Put your GitHub profile. Keep a GitHub profile in sync. Try to solve as many problems as possible. Work on several different types of data sets. There is a humongous world open in the last 90 days across Google or in generally internet. You have unlimited number of courses for free, unlimited number of data sets, if that is what I'm hearing. So that's a great point. So let's see what Mr. Surendra Tipparaju Garu is going to say about AI skills and how AI is going to play a vital role, and how Microsoft is actually adopting this entire AI and how they are transforming stuff.
Great. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're audible. So it's a great forum. Thanks for inviting me. Very interesting insights, both from Mr. Jayesh and Dr. Srinivas. So one of the transformation, or if we have paid a couple of insights in last few days, and in last 2-3 years, the trend has been like almost in every sector, irrespective of which domain, which academia the people are pursuing their career, the AI is taking up some form or shape in terms of impact. In fact, the industry insights which we refer to in designing our portfolio, it says 70% of all the industries across the world will use some or other form of AI for end-to-end business process in next 5 to 7 years. And we were challenging that study because the kind of disruption the COVID has brought in, it might happen in next 2 to 3 years itself. And in just like this quarter itself, the healthcare investment, which was like 250 million or 230 million last year, now in the first quarter itself, it has touched almost 700 million, and it is expected to touch 4 times the investment compared to previous year. So irrespective of which domain anybody is operating on, the AI is going to play a very, very crucial role in terms of operations, in terms of scaling, in terms of optimizing. I mean, imagine like connecting this kind of people across the world. This would not have been possible without this technology disruption that is happening continuously. And as a lot of governance and policy bodies which are acting based on amount of data, I mean, credit to the point of Dr. Srinivas, which has brought in. Now the getting to the data is not at all a challenge. In fact, the amount of data generated in last 3 months is unprecedented, and it would not have happened any time in the historical perspective. And actually, from the evolution point of view, the how everybody is going to get participate in this AI platform, I look at it like kind of 3 optics. Even at the Microsoft also, we look at it in 3 angles. The first angle is called the decision science team. So when I say not data science, decision science, the decision science are the people who come with domain expertise, who come with field expertise, who are actually day in, day out in the operations. They bring in the business insights, they bring in the data insights. Then comes the data science, who basically create the patterns and processes to crunch all this data. And then the engineering teams, which will develop the systems to put it into production. So irrespective of which background you come in, you're going to participate, everybody is going to participate in this equation. And all this 3 is going to play a major role in terms of the AI transformation. In fact, the journey starts with digital transformation. At Microsoft, what we say is AI is kind of a goal, but you start digitizing the every operation. What are the opportunities within that? Understand the business processes, understand the domain insights, talk to the domain expertise. Don't focus on algorithm and technique. focus on the business process and how do you digitize it. If you start with that kind of Uber goal, there will be a big opportunity for everyone in this space. That's how I look at it in terms of how the AI is going to open up for everyone.
Wonderful, Mr. Surendra Garu. So if I'm hearing you correctly, you're saying, work like as an entrepreneur. If you have the skill set of digitizing, if you had the mindset of digitizing a business operations, you'll be able to effectively implement and execute AI in terms of scaling and operational wise.
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful point, sir. Wonderful point. I know we are short of time, but I would like to, run by one more question, because there is a huge goal in front of Dr. Jayesh Garu. Given the 10 lakh target in the state of Telangana for especially jobs in the IT sector, what portion do you see that will be predominantly in the AI aspect of the firm, sir? Because I know there are a lot of memorandum of understandings as well as a lot of signs in terms of establishment of new corporates from not just US but across the world now are setting up businesses in Hyderabad. What kind of evolution are you seeing from a ground reality standpoint, and what should students look forward to with the hope of getting their careers in AI?
See, our intention is to position Hyderabad as a very important hub for AI related activities. We are attracting domestic companies, international companies, many of them from the US, to look at Hyderabad as the right location for setting up their AI business, because first of all, the talent is available, lots of research institutions are there, startups are there, government will provide support. And with that intention, we have declared 2020 as the year of AI. And from January 1st onwards, a series of programs have been launched. Of course, there has been some disruption because of this lockdown, etc. But despite that, almost 90% of what we had intended to achieve by June, we have been able to successfully do. So the whole purpose is to give a very new focus that this is a city where you will have everyone, every fresh engineering graduate, regardless of what branch he has studied, he knows about AI. Dr. Srinivas spoke about lots of hackathons, etc., which are happening. So we ourselves during this year are organizing lots of such events which encourage application of AI. Just yesterday, this is a good coincidence that we are talking today morning, because yesterday only we have concluded a global hackathon, which we called COVID Observatory. And the team which won this hackathon, it's a multidisciplinary team, but the focus of that team was that how do you predict the new hotspots which are going to come, and how do you use data? So mobility data, heat spots, economic data, transmission data, various kinds of data sets. How do you, as Dr. Srinivas mentioned, how do you identify patterns from those data without writing any specific code for that? So very interesting application, and many more are in the pipeline. We have joined hands with NASSCOM to set up a center of excellence on AI and data sciences, and there will be lots of very focused events in the months to come. So the whole purpose is to give Hyderabad that fillip, that image and that kind of a reputation, that if anyone has any AI solution to work on, then this is the place to go to.
Wonderful, sir. So guys, kids, students, whoever has joined on the call today and this conference, you're hearing directly from the IT Secretary of State of Telangana, where the expectation is very high, and the main reason why it is thriving, especially the city of Hyderabad in terms of IT's export, is the talent and the knowledge pool that you have. And seems like there are a variety of encouragement in terms of programs, hackathons, the social responsibility hackathons. We've been part of that, and especially as Jayesh Garu said, 2020 was declared as the year of AI, and that was actually our inspiration to start first ever virtual conference back in March across India, to keep that momentum on for the city of Hyderabad as well as the state of Telangana, is the first virtual AI conference and AI Fest. So thank you, sir, on that point. Dr. Srini Garu, I have one question before I move on to Surendra Garu. What do you see? What do you see the missing element when you teach to globally in international places and international institutions? What do you see the skill that you see the students are missing?
Again, I said the biggest issue is not to blame the students, it is societal. The society puts glamour on deep tech without business context. So if somebody is working on some glamorous word like machine learning, it is considered more glamorous as compared to writing a script to acquire data from Twitter. Whereas for business, it is important to understand that the end-to-end understanding of the problem, the acquiring of the data, and writing scripts to get the data and cleaning the data is most important. So to me, I think even the popular certification programs and the popular platforms which are teaching data science and AI, they need to put a big disclaimer saying that real world is not algorithms. Real world is not glamorous. Real world is dirty. You have to write a dirty script to get all the data from whichever source you are. That means you have to write a script in, I don't know, script in Python, or maybe write a script in screen scraping using PHP. But the point is, you need to start looking at what is the data required for your problem and do all the things that are required to make that happen. So that's what hackathons are good at. Hackathons help you in doing all those steps, which is what you get a realism before moving from bookish knowledge which you teach in. You can't blame them. Universities have certain obligations. They like to get fundamentals into the students, right? But universities, let me not take the step other way. Universities are not required to instill practicality into students. That's not their goal. Their goal is to educate them. So I think I don't want to find fault with the universities, and it's the universities' delivery of the concepts, which is the first stage. Then students have to top it up with their own krushi, which you call it in Telugu, right? To take up practical side of developing things, because everything cannot be pushed to universities. Universities are ultimately education hubs, right? They have to give shiksha, the principles, the basic concepts. Otherwise, people will start doing things without a good grasp of depth. And that's something we're facing a big problem. From industry perspective, let me tell you one more big challenge which we're facing. When we go and hire talent, 90% of the data science graduates are unemployable. This is a reality. Let me tell you, that's the truth. Because they're not willing to do the hard work of writing a script and doing an analysis of what features among 100 features are important. Instead, they will jump to, can I apply machine learning? No. So that's my request and advice. Students, be aware of practical issues in building systems. Add that to your resume. Add the practical side of things to your resume beyond whatever theoretical you learned. And don't blame universities for doing that. Universities have done their job.
Wonderful point, Dr. Srinivas. Surendra Garu, how do you want to conclude that with, about the practicality and about the 90% unemployable skills? And where do you see from a Microsoft standpoint, or where do you see from your role standpoint, or on the ground reality standpoint?
So, yeah, I mean, the important point is this wave or hype of AI. Actually, some people took the advantage of it, and like teaching a Python is a data science. Just like dealing with databases is considered as a data engineering. So that kind of misconceptions are being like promoted, and a lot of people pay tons of money to get a little bit of these offline courses and certificate courses. I think one of the most fundamental requirement or the missing element so far, and now at least I am seeing that happening with is this kind of forums where you can bring the industry experts and academia together and create that bridge. That is the most fundamental aspect of it, and I'm glad seeing that happening. If these kind of bridges are built where student can reach out and talk to the real kind of practitioners and the experts and SMEs, that hype is taken away, and then there is a method to this madness. Okay, there is a systematic process where one can acquire the knowledge and the required skill set to practice, and the tools and the sites and the information that is available everywhere. Now it's only the question of changing that optics, move away from the hype, understand the process, and then invest time and again to acquire that. That is going to be the very, very important aspect of it, and that is what is going to define the employability of any student as such who is graduating. In fact, there is, I mean, whenever I talk to students, a lot of them come back and ask a very innocent question. Actually, they'll say that will AI will replace my job? Will AI will take away what I'm learning? And I have only one statement for them, which I would use it as a conclusion for my session here. Is like people, AI will not replace people anytime in near future. Take it. Only people who use AI will replace people who don't use AI. Okay, so that's going to be the pattern. So start embracing in whichever form, in whichever domain you are. Start understanding the technology, retain your domain richness, combine them, and move forward. And there are tons of opportunities, and tons of mentors are available even to share their knowledge and help them out in their journey. And that's what, in fact, Microsoft has been collaborating with a lot of academia institutions and industry forums to bring the bridges. And I'm seeing the OrbitShifters doing that. Very glad to see that. And in fact, from the governance point of view, as Mr. Jayesh declared, it's like AI year. I mean, what more you can expect from governance investing the whole year as AI year? It is like mentors like us who has to help the students to take it to that platform.
Wonderful point, sir. Wonderful point. So I'm hearing a lot of positivity and a lot of excitement here. So just to summarize this panel, guys, what I'm hearing is agility, skill set, problem solving skills, remove the hype, focus on the fundamentals. And just to summarize, I feel like AI is like unlike electricity, which took about 100 years to adopt. We are still adopting electricity, and now we are going into solar. And it feels like AI is rushing. The hype that we've been talking about seems like for AI to become experts in AI, we are looking about next 1 to 5 years itself in terms of adoption rates and the scalability things. So let's get those foundations correct. And I think what is required, what I'm hearing from the panel experts so far is not just the AI and the programming aspect of it, learn both the art, science, and commerce aspect of AI, which will give you the 3 different lenses, the person to use, the person to adopt and adapt, all the 3 different levels of it. And also, I just wanted to see if there is anything to conclude from Jayesh sir, from you, or Dr. Srini, or Dr. Surendra garu.
See, I'll only make one point. This is Jayesh Ranjan here. My point is that this is also a skill, and the more you practice, the more skilled you will become. See, we have seen in the large IT industry which is there in Hyderabad, there are...
good morning. Jayesh Ranjan sir also has joined AVS, sir. I think we can just waiting for Andrew to start the proceedings. Good morning, Jayesh sir.
There are many IT professionals who are considered big experts. And the difference between them and someone who is just... and as you know, in these COVID times, lots of layoffs have happened. So who are the people whom the company does not want to retain vis-a-vis those who are seen as star performers? The difference is only one, that they have applied to develop their skills. They have improved. So this is what my suggestion is to all the students also. There are thousands of potential problems that Dr. Srinivas mentioned, Surendra garu mentioned. Pick up anything which fancies you. Try developing algorithms, see whether they work, participate in hackathons. The more you develop yourself, the better equipped you will be to become a very successful IT professional in days to come.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you so much, Jayesh garu, for your valuable time, along with Dr. Srini and Dr. Surendra garu. I think it's a great panel discussion, guys. So students, focus, fall in love with AI, learn the basics, learn the problem solving, focus on the data versus writing a script. These are all great inputs that we have learned from our panel experts. So.